Welcome back to your live continuing NAB 2015 Teradek coverage, live from the Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're in the Vitek booth because Teradek is a Vitek brand, and I am so happy you're joining us. We have a special treat for you. We've got Mark Peterson from OffHollywood here, and I'm going to explain what OffHollywood is in a second. And we've got, of course, Miguel from Full Color right here as well. And I can't wait to explain what both of you guys do. You're literally like the dream team. I'm actually honored and humbled to have you guys on set here, so thank you very much for joining us.
Should take him everywhere.
It'd be my pleasure. So first of all, OffHollywood is a rental house in New York City, and at the heart, right?
Right. So we're a boutique. We do production services, but the thing that drives us is our technology for passion. So we do complicated stuff. We did early 3D stuff. We do early VR stuff, but we're passionate about technology and finding ways to combine it and package that for customers.
And so you're also, first of all, you're also like the guy who gets the first red camera that leaves the building when they make new reds, right?
Well, yeah, a little bit of the claim to fame. We were the first actual customers of Red. We bought the first two cameras, the first two red ones, and they still work to this day. So.
And it was labeled Elvis and then Bond,
yeah,
right?
so we named number 6 Elvis and number 7 Bond.
Because Elvis has left the building,
yeah,
and Bond was number 7.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like you guys have fun with everything.
Yep.
It's really important. All right. So the thing with the Red is that the Red has been designed kind of as a modular camera, right? They've designed it and said, this is what we think an amazing camera is, and then if you want to add stuff, go ahead. And so you've started to add hardware to it, and then making you the dream team. Miguel has really started to work on some amazing software products, and the reality is that your stuff is so easy to use, a fool could do it, and that's why we get Full Color.
Yeah, the fact that I'm a cameraman myself, so I'm not an engineer or a software developer. I've been just shooting with the Red.
Wait a second. I mean, I love the fact that you're a cameraman yourself, and I think that's what makes it so great, but the fact that you're not an engineer and have developed this is remarkable.
No, it's most people, when they write their first iOS app, write Hello World. This guy built like a spaceship, for his first iOS app.
Unbelievable.
But the thing that I think is great about it is that he's not an engineer, so he's making it for functionality. He's making it for how a user wants to use it.
So first of all, should we show the hardware first or the app?
No,
first?
let's talk about the software first.
Okay, so here's the software.
Yeah, because it started last year when Red started to open the camera to the external third-party developers. So they just had a protocol that was already working in the camera, so the screen can talk to the brain, or the side handle, all the accessory could talk into the camera ecosystem, and they just decided to open that to external developers so people could start talking to the camera and making their own apps. So they got in touch with me because I'm a cameraman, but I was fiddling a bit with code, and I did a small app, very simple app, like 3 years ago, that everyone has been starting using on set because it was a cataloging app making very nice PDF and HTML catalogs. And one guy showed it to Jared, the president of Red, and Jared got in touch and said, oh, it's cool, come at NAB, it was a year ago, and come show your app. And he gave me the SDK to be able to talk to the camera. So without being a developer, I thought it was cool to be able to talk to my own camera and see what I could do. And the same evening, I connected to the camera with my computer with a cable at the time, and I was able to just say to the camera, go to 800 ISO, and it would go to 800, so I thought it's cool, and I knew I had 2 months before I got the SDK, before NAB last year, so I spent like day and night for 2 months programming an app, which was not on the iPhone, it was on a computer, on a Mac OS, that would control anything inside the Red. So I call it Full Control, and it lets you control the color, all the settings of the camera.
Right, so the first app was iOS X on the laptop.
Okay.
You could still buy that, and that's what's used on the House of Cards. They use that for their color control.
First of all, I think House of Cards is literally the most beautifully shot show on television. I think it's stunning. I love that it's all red, and I think they do such a great job. So that was used?
Yeah, they used my software. The DOP used the software. He has 2 camera, 2 dragons on set with wireless transmitter, and he could go whenever he wanted behind a big monitor, see the image, and with my software he was able to tweak the very tiny color balance values, or add a curve, or add different things in the camera directly, so all the monitor on set would have the correct image, and also it would be embedded in the metadata information right into the clip, so all the way into post-production you would have always the same color right,
Right.
as the DOP intended it from the beginning.
What is it like being a guy who's a camera operator who really is not an engineer and didn't know how to create an app to have the guy who's doing House of Cards using your stuff to make that show look, and I just said it's the most stunning show on television, it's, you know.
I mean, the app was just a tool just to be able to do it in a convenient way, but.
Yeah, but you're making their workflow better.
Yeah.
But what's that like?
It's cool.
All right, so can you walk me through what I can do on this? Show the app.
So here I got one on the iPad and one on the iPhone. This one is connected to this camera here, it's using a Teradek actually at the moment to connect to the Wi-Fi of this Teradek tube. So it's talking to the camera and it's sending me back also some image to the iPhone. And basically I can do anything, like I can of course start recording from the,
Well, Wi-Fi is terrible in here, so I gotta warn you about that. You should know that first.
Yeah,
so
I know that. It's the same in the Red booth. We always struggle with the Wi-Fi connection.
But I
so
know
was the trade show demo.
Let me say.
Yeah, while he resets that.
Okay, it's working now. So yeah, obviously you can start recording from the iPhone or from the computer, and we'll start recording on the camera. And anything you do here or you do here, it will change live. So I can start recording on the camera, and it will tell me that it's recording on the telephone. And if I stop here, it will stop on the camera. And any setting that I want to change, including on this camera, like focus control, because I've got the.
It's actually wireless focus control for electronic lenses from your phone.
Wow.
Like the Canon lens, I can control the focus directly from the telephone into the camera. I can put some marks at different points. I can also make several turns to be super accurate when I focus.
I hate to tell you this, but you need to start adding engineer to your resume because you are an engineer. This is remarkable.
Yeah, and then you can also like rack focus back to a certain point with a smooth curve at the beginning and the end.
Look, you can ask anybody. Go back there right now. Ask anybody if I ever shut up.
Yeah.
I don't. I never stop talking. You have me speechless. I don't know what to say to you other than.
It really is incredible. His talent to combine
and you can like dial curves into the app. It will change directly on the camera. So that's what they've been using with the Mac version on the House of Cards.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot. I'm going to go a little. I'm going to go tight on the screen, right, of the camera. Hold on, and you change. Hold on. Let me just focus here before they take this shot. And okay, change the color balance drastically so people can see. Look at that. Oh my God. Can you go back? Can you do the focus?
Yeah.
Go back to the focus.
And so the exciting thing about these parameters are you're shooting raw, so the color parameters are non-destructive.
Right.
So in real time, you can adjust the ISO and the color, and you can throw it out in post to change it later.
Right, and what's great is you can say to the DIT and then to the colorist later on, like, hey, this is the kind of look we were going for. Now you go work your magic, but this is what we were thinking of. But you also know that you can get a much better sense of how the lighting is, and maybe even help the colorist not have to have the most amount of work to save your project because you made it. You did the right things to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think Red doesn't get a lot of credit for this, but they should, because there's no other digital cinema camera company that has opened up a protocol. It's an open protocol, so you can't do this with Arri, with Sony, with Canon.
I love this. This is remarkable. And I think that Red has always had a different outlook on the world, and I think that's what makes them special. The cameras are amazing, and I think that it's great that they've done this, but it's kind of ingrained in their roots. Like that's what they're about, and I love it. So you've got the new This is called the Weapon.
Right. So
8K.
Well, it's 6K now.
Yeah.
But it's by design. It has a modular sensor, so that the sensor can be easily swapped and upgraded for 8K later this year.
Unbelievable.
So the biggest thing, a couple big things about the Weapon. One of the major differences between that and the Dragon, it's currently the same sensor. It's the Dragon sensor, but it is a new ASIC and better processing, so you will get a better image from the same sensor. But you can do simultaneous ProRes and RAW at the same time to the same media. So now you can shoot to the same little SSD mag, you can shoot 6K RAW while you're recording 1080 or 2K ProRes for editorial at the same time.
Wow.
So no more rendering dailies.
That is excellent.
So the other thing they did was they added 3D Lutz, okay? And they have built-in Wi-Fi. So the Dragon Epic Scarlett didn't have Wi-Fi, and that was what kind of started off Hollywood's transition into a product company. We made this little device called the Hotlink.
Okay.
Okay? So the Hotlink basically adds Wi-Fi
So we could
to
use
the camera,
app.
so you could use his app. Okay?
Excellent.
So that's how, and we collaborated through. I was giving him feedback, and
Sure.
we're kind of like
You are the dream team.
we're kind of like partners in crime.
Now, you weren't an engineer either on the hardware side. You
No.
had to teach yourself this too?
Well, I just know a lot of really smart people. That's what I do. I just try to surround myself with smart people and put it together in a different way or a unique way.
But I mean, even the thought that, hey, we can add this to the camera is kind of a avant-garde idea.
Yeah, well, yes, I think.
Yeah.
But so in the Dragon, in the weapon,
Yeah.
they've put Wi-Fi now into
Okay.
the weapon, okay?
Is that
And
are you a little sad about that because your product?
Not at all, because now we're going to make harder, cooler products.
Excellent.
Okay, and there's also like still many Epic Dragon Scarlets in the
Of
world,
course.
and they're going to keep working, so people can keep buying these.
Right, and there are a lot of people who have it and a lot of people
Right.
who don't.
Right.
So now they can still buy it. Yep.
So, so just to one up the fact that they opened up a software protocol to anyone
Yeah.
to talk to the camera, they are now going to open in a special controlled program. They're going to do third-party hardware integration.
Wow.
So my company OffHollywood we're like the guinea pigs. So we're sort of like the first up. And if we screw up,
Then it's over.
then it's over.
You ruin it for everybody.
So
You
pressure's
ruined
on. Pressure's on. So this is a working prototype. It was sort of rushed for the show.
it. Okay.
But to make a long story short, the camera has no connectors for HDSDI or HDMI out. But they did something really interesting. For the electronic viewfinder and the monitor, they have a special direct contact attachment. So you can put a viewfinder and a monitor on. You see there's no cables.
Right.
So there's no more cables. If you look at that camera, there's no
Just-
cable. Right,
right.
well that one is, but
Right, but the thing to point out, because people are looking at this at home probably going, wait, there's a cable right there. No, that's a light. Just so
oh,
people
this is
know.
just a laptop.
Right.
We call it a lens light, because people can, ACs just stick it in the camera.
Yeah, you can
right.
remove it.
Right. So what we're doing is making a series of modules that connect directly to the weapon and add additional functionality and additional inputs and outputs. Because the challenge for any company, and I've had these conversations endlessly, is there's different markets and everyone wants a different thing.
Absolutely.
We don't use digital audio much in the United States. We
Right.
put analog audio in, but I talk to these guys from Europe, they're like, I gotta have AES audio in.
Right.
So
Why is that never caught on here in the United States?
it's weird, but there's a lot of things that Europe does that make
Right.
a lot more sense, like
Yes.
4-hour lunches
And-
wine
yes.
during the work week and yes.
And meters.
Right. And meters. So this is again, we've already upgraded this, but this is a prototype. So we're making the big one is called the W Pro for Weapon Pro.
Okay.
The line of modules we're calling OMODs. It's like OffHollywood
like that,
modules,
yeah.
right? So the OMODs, this is the W Pro OMOD, and what we've added is 4-pin XLR power input
Okay.
that hot swaps with your battery.
Sure.
But inside this is a internal battery that will run the camera and a whole bunch of accessories for 5 minutes.
Just so you can swap batteries or
Yeah,
do
but I
whatever
mean,
you
you
have to
could
do.
literally take this battery off and casually walk over and get another
Right.
battery, put it on. Okay, so we've kind of done with power between these two things and an internal battery. And there's a new technology that we're one of the first companies to license from Swittronics, which is called Volt Bridge.
Okay.
And what Volt Bridge does is uses Bluetooth LE to send out the battery data in real time. So in a free iOS app, you can monitor the battery, up to 25 cameras and a phone.
Up
And
to
you can-
25
yes,
cameras.
and you can send an alert, so you can say, okay, when this battery on the crane is down to 20%,
Let me know.
ping me.
Right.
So it's just,
That's excellent.
but what we're seeing is like the Internet of Things moving onto the set. And that's
So-
what we're trying to capture, that movement.
You're doing a phenomenal job with this, both you guys. That's really great, because we were at CES and we were broadcasting live, and everything was talking about, as Be Terrific, and everything was talking about the Internet of Things.
Right.
But the reality is that the Internet of Things didn't go, it went into your home, it went into your car, it went into your wrist.
Well, it's really just starting.
It is.
Right.
It's in its infancy, but I didn't even think of it there, that it should go onto set. and that's amazing.
Oh, I think it's a huge I mean,
Yeah.
the interesting thing about the film world, which is also the big challenge, is it's a very preservationist mentality. People work the same way for decades
Yes.
and do the same, sound guys have carbon copy triplicate forms, and so you kind of have to really push, but I think you're going to see radical changes in how we work on set. I mean, making content is expensive, and there's tons of people and tons of logistics. It's actually kind of the perfect thing to solve with software.
Yes, absolutely. So, and you've got Limo connections there, you've got XLR, and
There's also, we're one of the first companies to license ambient recordings ACN wireless time code inside. So
Wow.
there's no more locket box with Velcro stuck on your camera. And it's not just a locket box inside, it's the Ferrari of locket boxes.
all right, so walk me through everything this has.
Okay, so USB for lens light or for charging your phone. You could charge your phone because you're running full control off your camera.
Right.
Okay. 3-pin Fisher, 4-pin Limo, run stop connectors and power. So start stop from a Preston.
Sure.
Okay. 3 2-pin power outputs for accessories, small HD monitor, whatever, right? 2 full-size XLR audio inputs. There's going to be switches that are not on this prototype for analog, digital, and line level and mic level.
Excellent.
Okay. And then we have our own video board. We've changed the design a little bit. We have our own video board in here that takes the 2 independent monitor paths from the brain, and will let you route them in any way you want between 1 HDMI and 3 HD SDIs. And what that means is, so like if you're doing an advanced 3D LUT workflow, for example, your DIT can get a log feed, okay? And he can be messing around with that, but you can put a 3D LUT on the feed for the client or the script.
Right.
So you can route that however you want. It's like a router DA in
This
one.
is, I don't use this much on this set. This is genius.
So, well, I appreciate that. We try. But, in a way, because we're a rental house, we're kind of building this for ourselves. I mean, which is what he did with his app.
Right.
He built his app for himself. He...
Do you have some Teradek stuff in there too? Because I noticed that.
Okay, so here's the big thing that we figured out
Yeah.
in making this prototype. You have to make a bunch of mistakes first. So, wireless video is, of course, a moving target because the technology changes very rapidly.
Sure.
Okay? So, Teradek is working on a new board for us that will do a very low latency H.264 stream at the same time that we can do serial commands. So we'll be able to do full control and live video at the same time. That board wasn't ready for the show.
Okay.
So we used a legacy product and sort of hacked some firmware with them. So this has some latency.
Got it.
But the new board will be much, much better.
Wait, you said that has some latency? It didn't seem like it had
It has latency.
Yeah,
Really?
so you can just now just rotate the app, and it will go into the full screen video
And
mode
that-
where you see
Well,
the
yeah, that's
the
what I was
live stream.
noticing. That's how I knew
Now
that you
show
had.
them the UI
Yeah,
over
and
that.
then if you press, you get a kind of UI around the thing.
So this live video and camera control on an iOS device.
So I saw that Miguel was holding that. Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
There-
my,
and
that's mind-numbing.
It's crazy.
And there,
the other thing about
I
this,
can still focus like from the.
So I noticed he was holding that, and I knew it had to have Teradek.
so the other thing is why
So the Teradek will be
Yeah.
the board will be inside the module.
So what we did in this prototype is we put it inside, but what we decided was we changed this design, and now we have a module in a module. So we made a specific enclosure that is sort of future-proof because Gig E and serial and SDI and power into this sort of generic enclosure that gets sandwiched in here that you can change. So we'll put the whole Teradek lineup and the whole Paralinx lineup of transmitters. So if you already own a bunch of Bolt 600s, you say, I want the OMOD module for Bolt 600, okay? And stick it on there.
Yeah. Are you a Seinfeld fan?
I love Seinfeld.
I feel like I should just say thank you and good night.
I think they want us to leave.
No, I'm just so blown away. The two of you, you said you were a dream team. The two of you guys, or I said you were a dream team. The two of you guys are a dream team. You've left me speechless. I mean, this is like the best thing for filmmakers that I've seen in probably 3 or 4 years.
It is a big deal. And the other thing is that there are a lot of little...
And it like you said, the other thing, it's like it almost never ends. I can't even think of the next other thing. What's the other thing? I'm so excited
They're
now.
coming. I mean, the next thing we're going to
Yeah.
do, and we're going to try to do it very soon, is we'll take H.264s in real time while you're shooting and just put them in the cloud on a platform like Frame.io. So, but this little thing on the phone, there's little uses on the set that are not so obvious. For example, when we do a bigger show, like we do a show in New York, we support a show that Steven Soderbergh does called The Nick.
Yep.
And they have, tons of extras, it's a period show. And so the second ADs have to place these extras. So they have to see what they're seeing. So literally there's a person who walks out in the distance and turns a woman to angle the right way. And so now they can just pull out their phone and see camera A, here's camera B, okay, you're in the right place, put their phone back in their pocket, and instead of having a whole wireless monitor.
You're gonna change the industry. You really are. You probably already are. You already are. What am I talking about? Miguel you guys are already doing it. Your hardware and his app, and now you're just gonna continue to push the limits and change the industry, and I love the pushing the limits. And I said yesterday, the thing I said after NAB day one was, I thought there were a lot of good announcements and there was a lot of great stuff, but there wasn't enough innovation, and you've satisfied me. You've more than satisfied me. You've exceeded my expectations.
But I think, and not to just keep plugging Red, but I just am very excited that Red was smart enough to open up these protocols, because instead of being a closed system, once you become an open system, you can smoke out a little genius guy in Paris, or you can let some crazy dude in Brooklyn with his little rental house make really cool stuff. And other people will make other modules to do other things.
Very cool. Well, so what's your favorite thing that you've shot in your life?
Well, I'm not a shooter.
Yeah, but you've had
I want to be.
I know, come on, you've had...
I would say...
You got a rental house full of Reds, you're playing around a little.
I would say footage of my son.
On a Red? Was it on a Red?
Yeah, it's a lot of footage of my kids on Red.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
You've shot your kids on Red, right?
Yeah. What's your favorite thing that you've shot?
I don't know. I shot my kids also with Red cameras because I have them at home and it's easy.
That's so cool.
But otherwise, I've been shooting lots of documentaries around the world. I've been traveling a lot in the Himalayas and carrying the camera to the top of the mountains and shooting landscape and people in monasteries and in Bhutan or in Ladakh or in Nepal, and lots of travels and lots of.
He's a real filmmaker.
Yes, no, it's. I know that, and that's awesome. So, is there a favorite thing? One favorite thing.
The favorite thing is the next thing.
Exactly.
You guys are amazing. You're a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming on. You're completely changing the industry. I love the name of your company, Full Control.
But
because
it's full FOOL.
Yes, Full Control, not full control. Full Control, because literally a fool could do it.
It.
I know. I could just slide up the aperture and I could do the focus and I could do everything. So I love that. And OffHollywood is another great name. It's almost like, because it's kind of a play on the off-Broadway thing from New York and the filmmaking thing from Hollywood.
Yeah. We stole it from a book actually called OffHollywood, which was about the emergence of independent film in the 60s and 70s in New York. So it's kind of a inside joke.
How'd
about
you get into the rental business? It's such a curious business.
we got forced into the rental business because originally we were focused on desktop solutions for finishing. Sure. We kind of created OffHollywood. My business partner Alday and I created this company. We were both production guys. I was a production manager, line producer. He was a camera guy. We created this company to help filmmakers navigate from film to HD, because the VariCam and the 900 came out then. So we were trying to capitalize on that transition. And somewhere along the way, we met some tech guys. We got the tech bug, and we were introduced to Red. That Red was making this camera, so we said, "This is amazing. We're all in."
The Red one, yeah.
And we assumed that every other major rental house in New York
would do it.
Would buy them, but they were really resistant in the beginning, but of course they had a lot of money invested in very overpriced technologies.
Right.
So our phone just kept ringing and ringing. So we were like, I think we got to keep buying some more Reds.
Excellent. Right. And are you open on Friday and Saturday?
We are open on Friday. We are going to do weekend hours in the spring, but we're not there yet.
That might be a good idea. I hear people all the time say, hey man, somebody could make a killing in this city just being open Friday and Saturday and not open any other day of the week.
That's true. That's interesting.
OffHollywood, of course, Mark Peterson, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You were great. You guys are both great. You're both geniuses. Thank you so much for coming on. Of course, Miguel from Full Control. I love this stuff. You guys are great. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, we'll be back with a whole lot more on your live continuing Teradek NAB 2015 coverage of the National Association of Broadcasters Convention from the Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am so excited. This was amazing. We'll see you in a little bit. Don't go anywhere.